Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of The Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. All right, guys, so today I want to talk about how we go about asking women for that first date, and I want to talk about time frames, okay? When you meet a woman that you're interested in, you immediately talk to her. You spend 5-10 minutes talking to her, then you get that phone number, you wait a few days, you call her, and you get that date. This whole thing, this whole process should not take more than a week's amount of time. If you're dragging on this process, you're generally only going to run into problems. So today I want to read a letter by a guy who spent a year and a half chasing this woman, and it only ended in failure. So I see a lot of guys that do this. The problem is they base their behavior on their interest level. And as I've told you guys a million times, the most important thing in a relationship is a woman's interest level, okay? That is what determines whether the relationship will be successful or a failure. And we'll talk a little bit about how to drive that interest level up. But we're going to talk about today about what not to do. And I see many, many men doing this. Okay, so I'm going to read this post. It was on one of the seduction forums. And it's about this guy who had been chasing this girl for a year and a half. And it resulted in nothing but failure. So let's get into this post a little bit. So this guy works with this gal. Okay, so already he's breaking the number one rule. Guys, don't date women you work with, okay? Don't get your honey where you get your money. We don't date. There are all sorts of problems that result from dating a woman you work with. There are more than 2 billion women on the planet. Go for those women. Don't pursue women you work with. But nonetheless, this guy makes the mistake of trying to date a girl he works with, and then he spends a year and a half trying to get that date, and it only ends in failure. Okay. Again, it's because he's driven by his own interest level. So at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you guys how to do this properly. So this guy works with this gal, okay, and he claims they had these great conversations. She'd remember little things I said. She always had an upbeat, feminine tone, and even was a little flirty at times. So already this guy is arguing that based upon the conversations they had, this woman is showing high interest level. And this is not necessarily an indicator of high interest. Women will have collegial conversations with their coworkers all the time. That's how you keep your job. But he thinks that the fact that he's having a nice conversation with this woman is an indicator of high interest on her part, when really he is the only one with high interest. Okay, there was a company party in December, and he was planning on maybe chatting her up and getting her phone number then. She didn't show up to the company party, so he eventually ended up getting her phone number in January. So he got her number in January, finally, and he decided he'd like to chat outside of work. So he sends her some texts, and he claims that, quote, his texts were met with flat responses. Okay, that included bad misspellings. So she's sending you flat text with spelling errors, not a good sign. But she would respond, though, even when not prompted, and even after the conversation seemed done and dead. But she didn't seem to give me anything to work with. Okay, so already, guy, you're getting texts from her that indicate low interest, okay? Because of how odd and socially awkward she can be in person, though, these texts didn't exactly shock me. So he's arguing here that, well, this is just her personality. Her personality is she's kind of odd. For perspective, I think, there's something a little off about her. Not sure if it's some sort of minor cognitive disability or dyslexia or what, but it's something, in my opinion. No, it's not something. There's not something off about her. She just isn't interested in you, okay? 2 weeks after the infamous text exchange, though, back in person at her office, she was her exact same self, if not more upbeat than ever. We had an awesome, normal conversation filled with laughs and jokes and everything else. This was pretty much confirmation to me that the flat texting was in no way something against me, okay? Again, He's twisting reality to suit his own interest level. All right. All right. Then a couple of hours later, I'm back in the office of her building working on something. I'm a tech. In an unprecedented move, she comes back to my office to chat with me for a few minutes. So he says that because she stopped by her office to chat, that was an indicator of high interest in her level. Again, probably not. Maybe, but probably not. Okay. I almost had vibes that maybe because she felt that the text exchange 2 weeks earlier went poorly, that she'd try and show me interest in this way here tonight. So he's making up this fantasy that because she wasn't happy with the text she sent him, that she was coming by his office to make up for these less than stellar texts. Again, no, that's not what's happening. All right. So back at this point, he feels he's back in the game. Okay. 3 days later, I'm going to be back in her building cafeteria from 10:30 to 11 a.m. So he sends her a text telling her, hey, I'm going to be in they work in separate buildings. And he sends her a text saying, I'm going to be in your building from 10:30 to 11. Okay. So I was going to ask her out when she showed up. Her response was, if I can, I'll be there, but I'm usually running late. I wrote back that it's all good and not to worry. Never got another text from her. You didn't get another text because she's not interested. You texted her. You told her you're going to be in your building. You told her you're going to be at the cafeteria from 10:30 to 11. She wasn't interested. Again, guy, buy a clue, take a hint. She's not interested. Okay. Didn't text me. No, sorry, she couldn't make it. So he's like, to think she literally pulled up in her building, went upstairs, and didn't even think twice about how I was downstairs. It boggles his mind that she couldn't stop down and see him. Again, it doesn't boggle the mind. She just doesn't have interest in you. Okay. So only a week later, a position in her department opens up that she had been waiting for forever, that we had talked about since we first met over a year ago. And long story short, she got the job. Okay. She got the job. So he sends her a text. Finally, this is a year and a half later, finally then asked her out. So a little over a week later, she texts me, I've got the job. He texts, congratulations, it finally happened. We should grab a drink at some point in the next week to celebrate. My treat. She responds over 2 hours later saying, thanks. I'm so happy I don't have to commute into the city anymore. End of text. She did not say a word about his date proposal. Okay. Again, that's what we call a soft reject. Okay. When you ask a girl out, guys, there's only one of two answers. There's yes and there's no. Okay. Unless she says specifically yes to your date idea, everything else is a no. So if you text her asking her out and she sends you a text back saying, oh, I'm so glad I'm not going to have to commute anymore, that is a no, guys. Okay, that was it. I never wrote back anything else. Complete disregard for and no comment about my drink invite. I'm talking to her about going to celebrate and she's responding, talking about a commute. In my opinion, was simply a distraction from the fact that she was clearly ignoring my invite. Okay? Yes, she was ignoring your invitation. Then he goes on to say, so that was that. 1.5 years of solid work on the relationship, 4 months of becoming closer at work, all just to get a cold, immature response like that. So this guy is confused. Okay? He's done all these things to try and get this woman to go out with him. He's done all these things to try and get this woman interested in him, and they all fail. Come on, dude, buy a clue. She's not interested. Okay? Keep in mind, this took place over 1.5 years, guys. That's just crazy. What should he have been doing in that 1.5 years? He should be hustling numbers. Every day he should be starting a conversation with a woman. So over 1.5 years, I don't know what the math is. That's probably nearly 500 openings. So over that year and a half, he should have started conversations with 500 women, okay? He should have tried to number close 500 women. Out of 500 women, if he's doing things right, he should have gotten 100 phone numbers. Out of 100 phone numbers, he should have gotten at least 30 or 40 dates. So while he is chasing this woman who has no interest, he should have been dating 30 or 40 other women, okay? Instead, he's wasting his time on this one woman. So remember, guys, relationships need to develop fairly quickly, okay? You get one chance per woman per lifetime. Either she is interested in you or she's not, okay? We can't read women's minds, so we base their interest level on certain tests. Does she talk to you? Yes or no? Does she give you her phone number? Yes or no? When you take her out on the date, will she accept a date idea with you? Yes or no? At the end of that date, does she give you a kiss on the lips? Yes or no? When you call her up again and ask her on a second date, does she accept that date? Yes or no? Okay, guys? So all this should be happening fairly quickly, and you need, it's a number games, guy. You need to be approaching many women. You need to be spinning many plates. You should be getting lots of phone numbers. You should be getting lots of dates, and you should be dating more than one woman. Don't spend your time. Don't spend a year and a half chasing one woman. It's a waste of your time.